my friends, and thank you so much for joining me here on St. Luminous. If you're new, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that way you can be notified the next time I put out a video. So last year, during the middle of the pandemic, I went ahead and bought a Kurzweil Rumour. I played with the presets. I played my guitar and my synthesizer through the presets to get a feel for the unit and some of its sounds inside. And I was really impressed. The presets sounded great. But the more I started reading about the algorithms underneath these presets, and the more I started tweaking parameters and getting to know these presets and the algorithms, the more I revealed the sonic glory of this Kurzweil Rumour. Not only that, but I also found some of its little secrets that I didn't know about when I first got it. One of them being an input EQ that you can turn on and off. This is really cool because you can shape the tone of the sound going into the unit, and that is really cool. For example, I know producers that they like to EQ the sends to their reverb. And this is something you can do without using an external EQ. Why? Because the Rumour has an EQ there that you can take in and out to warm up your reverb a little bit if you'd like. The other trick it has up its sleeve is that it could be used as an extra analog to digital or digital to analog converter. I'm gonna get to that in a second. So if it sounds so good and it has this utility of being used as an extra analog to digital converter, and it's got this cool input EQ that I can turn on and off, why in the world would I sell such an amazing sounding unit? Well, for one, I got the Kurzweil KSP8, which is the parent unit. In a previous video, I talked about how Kurzweil released this flagship effects processor called the KSP8. And from there, they released child units that had some of the algorithms from the KSP8, and there was its own presets set in there. The KSP8 has 4 stereo effects buses. So in essence, I kind of have 4 Kurzweil Rumours in this one box. But there's even more. There's more algorithms in the KSP8 that aren't available in the Rumour or the Mangler. It's got all these killer routing options where I can chain algorithms together. And it's got ways to modulate parameters, which the Rumour and the Mangler, they don't do. It doesn't have any modulation possibilities, but I could do that in a KSP8. So clearly the KSP8 has a lot more going on. Now, if I want to be nitpicky, I'll tell you some other reasons why I'm getting rid of the Rumour. Well, the Rumour is a 1-rack unit, so it's got a smaller screen, which is fine. I can operate on the smaller screen, and the small screen is customizable. So I can get rid of parameters I'm not going to use and just see the parameters I want to use. But let's compare. On the Rumour, I can only see one parameter at a time, scroll to another parameter, fine. But the KSP8, you should see this beautiful screen. It's gorgeous looking, it's got multiple parameters all there for me to look at, and I can customize that too. Just for me, this is a faster way for me to work and see a whole group of parameters and where I'm at if I want to design my own effect. It's just a faster and more efficient way for me to work than to look on a single, screen. The other thing is I'm used to the way lexicons, the Lexicon PCM81 and the MPX1 use their bypass button. You can set that bypass button to act as an input mute. So if I have a reverb with a long decay, when I hit the bypass button, the inputs will be muted, so whatever I play won't be processed, but at least the reverb will decay down nicely and it will sound natural. I use the bypass button all the time when designing effects because I want to mute the effects processor so I can hear the dry signal again. So this is just part of my process. It's a little weird for me to hit the bypass button and the effects chop off, and the Rumour does that, and there is no way to program it to be an input mute. However, that's not necessarily a bad thing depending on how you operate, because when you hit that bypass button, that's what turns the unit into its own analog to digital converter. So it's kind of cool if you think about it. If you just use the Rumour in bypass, you can connect your extra synth into the Rumour and take the digital out to go into your audio interface as an extra input, an extra pair of analog to digital inputs. That's kind of useful, and I would imagine that in some studios, that is a useful tool depending on how you operate. And lastly, I'm gonna get real with you. Money. It's the money and the finances involved in something like this. So I bought the Kurzweil KSP8 for a little less than $1,200. And I don't want to put it on a credit card and slowly pay it off over many months, because I've got to pay the interest on that over those many months until the Kurzweil KSP8 is paid off. I also don't want to pay with the money in my bank account. So, then how do I pay for the unit if I don't want to pay for it in cash straight up and I don't want to pay it on a credit card over many, many months? I'm going to sell stuff. I'm going to sell gear that will pay for the Kurzweil KSP8. I do have a lot of gear that I rarely use around here, and if it's just collecting dust and I don't see myself using it anytime soon, then I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it to make some money to pay for the Kurzweil KSP8. And one of those pieces of gear is the Kurzweil Rumour. Because no matter how good it sounds and how useful it is as a utility, with the Kurzweil KSP8, it kind of makes the Kurzweil Rumour unused in my environment. In my environment, I already have the Kurzweil KSP8. I have everything that the Rumour has and way, way more. So the Kurzweil Rumour, unfortunately, has to be sold so I can pay for the Kurzweil KSP8. Sure enough, the Kurzweil Rumour by itself won't pay for the Kurzweil KSP8, but I'm selling the Rumour. I've sold a few pedals and a monitor controller, and all these things combined should go ahead and pay for the KSP8. It's just financially smarter for me to do it that way. And that's it. That's why I sold my Kurzweil Rumour that I raved about in a previous video. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for hanging out with me and talking about this. Hey, leave a comment below. Let me know about some gear that you've sold, or I always love to hear people's comments on gear that they've regret selling. I won't regret selling the Kurzweil Rumour because I have my trusty KSP8. But let me know in the comments about some of the gear you've sold, or maybe about something you've acquired recently. Again, if you're new, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified the next time I put out a video. Thanks again, you guys, and keep on making good music out there.